Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone is doing well. Today I want to tackle a topic that's not usually discussed much, especially in the high yield community. I wanted to talk about how to lose money with high yield ETFs and to tackle like the topic of the mental aspects of investing and trading in general. So this idea was inspired by a comment that Max Convexity made. Once again, Max, thanks so much for the support and then also for this thought-provoking topic. And I kind of want to touch this with a with some delicacy because I think some people, I think like especially for the younger folks, uh, I think because they're so active on social media, it's almost like second nature. But for myself, I was lucky to be like when I was born and growing up, as I felt fortunate that I never had social media growing up, and I felt that if you wanted to do like good work, you kind of had to do more research and read books and go to the library, just to like do things the old-fashioned way. Because I found that like when you take the time to like go through something and like do like a deep dive, like it helps cuts out like a lot of this unnecessary noise that happens like nowadays. So this is one of the reasons why I'm not like a fan of like doing like shorts or like like TikTok and like FinTok. I mean, how do you learn finance by with like like 15 or 20-second like fun goofy clips? I think it's fun for I guess like if you're on the younger side and you want to have fun and you want to socialize and all that kind of stuff. But then I think there's also a time that you need to like actually like focus and stuff. So I wanted to like kind of avoid like some of the superficial topics that gets covered a lot with a lot of like these Defiance and YieldMax. Um, I guess like the videos because they're not very detailed, and I guess like one of the other things about social media too, like I don't want to be like that cringy like Facebook uncle that just like waste your time with a lot of like unnecessary content. Like I try to make most of my like the focus on like the actual math and like the analysis. And I actually like getting off the internet. Like I don't think it's healthy to have so much to dedicate so much time on like social media in general. Because unfortunately, this takes like I noticed like an increase in like attention deficit disorder. Like people they can't focus. Like they always have to be either on their phone or their laptop, and I just don't like that aspect of modern life. Like as it is, like people already like stressed and like they're very short tempered and they're very rude to each other. And then like there's like this negative feedback loop that like they're pissed off, so they take it out on their coworkers or their family. And I just don't think that's a good thing. And there's also something to be said for like concentration at work, like versus distraction. Because sometimes like if you're like even just like simple things like when you're taking an order or you're ringing up like a customer and like people are like on their phone and they're not paying attention to like paying customers. It's kind of weird. And this is just like my personal preference. I prefer like the long form like deep dives versus like fluffy sound bites. I guess like sometimes when I am on YouTube, I like long form like podcasts, especially on topics that require a lot of like thought and attention, like such as like macroeconomics and how that affects financial markets. And I kind of miss the old days when like you can just like get lost in like a really good like physical book. I mean, just ask yourself like when was the last time you read like a good physical book? And then one of the other things about like social media, especially on YouTube, is like you see like these goofy videos of people like, oh, you can make XYZ amount of dollars in like 15 minutes and you can like lie down on the beach and lie in a hammock and like do all this kind of like unrealistic like things. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like to take vacations and enjoy my life, but like you have to like fund it somehow. And like how do you like I kind of wonder how they're actually making money. And I refuse to add to like the clown show that's already out there. I mean, I guess I could like show off like nice custom suits and like my footwear and like luxury watches and all that kind of stuff. But like, what's the point? Like, it's to me it feels like very superficial, and it also like causes people that are not at this level yet that like they feel bad, and I don't want that. I want people to eventually like find like some like a work style that works for them and eventually get to like this level. As for Discord, I actually used to be on a lot of Discord servers, but it was mostly for like crypto and like games. Like for to me, like Discord is more for like entertainment, and I guess that's fine if you want to like network with people and like have fun. But in terms of like high yield like ETFs and like option trading like specifically, I actually haven't found anything that's I guess in terms of like actual alpha. I only found one, and this was like I I want to say around 2 years ago, but it was like a paid service, and unfortunately it closed because like the file, like the person that created it like retired, and I also had like this like misfortune like usually I'm one of the quote unquote like smartest person in the room because I usually when you find yourself like answering a lot of questions that's not good. Like I want to be the one asking the questions. Like I actually like learning about like some of the deeper aspects of options. Like even now, like even with like Wall Street experience, like I'm still learning different things about like advanced topics every day. Just to like for example, like recently I made like that long freaking video about like what parts of it what was about like correlation and dispersion, and I found that like very fascinating. But you're not gonna like learn that by just like watching like a 10-minute video on YouTube. You have to like actually like get your hands dirty and do the research. So I guess like one thing to keep in mind is like your mind is your most important investing and trading weapon, and you don't want like others to cloud your opinion. I guess like case in point, like recently, like the past month, regarding like the I guess like for example like the YieldMax ETFs, like people piled into like certain ones like Coin and Square, and I think AI was the other one. And I thought, oh wow, you can make like at the time like the advertised rates were like 100% or close to it. And then when the distributions actually happened, like people were kind of like, well, how come it doesn't seem like it's that great? And people were I guess like I hate harping on like high yield tourists like crowding into like certain trades. I mean, at one point like these were good assets, but then like they tend to be overvalued just because like you have to share it amongst more people, and then that causes like a negative feedback loop because then they are scared at at like the first piece of FUD, or like fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and then like, that causes cheap valuations. So either like if you're still in those ETFs, I would just say like maybe there's a chance like in the next like earnings cycle that things will return to normal. Of course, like it's your money, so it's up to you like whether you want to stay in them or not. And then there's like this unfortunate aspect where they blame others for like their misfortune. I guess like just watch out for like how much you're paying for any asset, really. And then this is like the kind of reminds me of like this old like Wall Street cartoon. Like people just like listen listen without like thinking, and like they're just making like crazy buy and sell decisions without actually thinking through like the consequences of the actions. So I guess like my approach has always been like more contrarian and it's more like research driven. So unfortunately, it's bad for YouTube because it's kind of boring, and it's very hard to outperform the crowd when you're part of it. Like I'm always suspicious of people that spend all their time like blabbing online. Like just for like reference, like I put in like roughly 10 hours a day analyzing and researching, and this is actually considered lazy by like Wall Street standards. So because like 10 hours a day for like on every day like the market is open, that's only like 50 hours, and that's not. I mean that's like I guess like a normal work day for some people. So, this is not like the most craziest thing in the world, I don't think. And I always kind of wonder, like the people that are always like blabbing online, like how are they analyzing and researching like markets? Like where do they find the time? But anyway, I just want to say like that for options trading and high yield ETFs, it looks like it's turning into like a PvP type of market. And this is a gaming term, so like PvP is like player versus player, and the other term is like PvE, where it's like players versus like the environment. So it's kind of like in certain games, like they have this co-op mode where you can like gang up online on like some big boss and like to take them down. I think when the high yield ETFs like first started coming out, I think that's kind of what it was. Like finally like the public has like a chance to like make some decent money. But now that I guess like money is starting to flow out again, now we're kind of like fighting each other for like the remaining yield and like the remaining assets. So I guess like now it's more of like a game of like applied mob psychology and financial form. I think it's kind of a silly notion that there's like safety on numbers in terms of like investing and trading. Unfortunately, this is kind of negative. Like profitable trading is a negative sum game because remember you're also paying like the expense ratio to like either YieldMax, Defiance, ProShares, Curve Invest, etc. So you're already like starting off on like a wrong foot. And then there's also like the the aspect of like because like most of these profits are tend to be like short term in nature. So you're also paying like a higher tax rate, at least like if you're in the US. So now you're kind of like two steps behind. So then the only other way to like really make money is like you have to outplay others. So I guess like in this new world of like high yield investing, it's you almost have to like use like card counting techniques by like you have to like study and execute like flawlessly. And in order to do that, you have to really focus and be disciplined, and you have to make like strategic sacrifices here and there. Like don't be afraid like to take like the hard loss because otherwise like that loss is just gonna go bigger. So but I still like just in general, I guess there's parts of YouTube that I do enjoy, even though like sometimes it's like semi censored. I think it's still an opportunity to like share like, both timely and like profitable. Well, I can't guarantee profits, but I think like some of the content could lead to profits. And then there's also like the aspect that like it could stand the test of time. So eventually, would like to find like maybe like a protege or something that, or someone that can pass along the torch to for like just like good old fashioned like options trading. But there is some good news. I think over time, especially when the inverse ETFs, like the inverse option ETFs that I talked about in the past, plus OT, and like I'm hoping for like more funds that are maybe in the works. I think there's a chance that you can outsource part of like your options trading to like some of these funds, and I think these are really very useful like portfolio batteries because like for myself personally, I'm hoping to actually like cut down like the amount of time that I spend like trading and just like I just want to ease into uh like a more retirement mode, um and then hopefully like I can like spend more time like sharing like analysis with you guys. So you've liked the type of content. I know this one is kind of like weird because it's not more analytical driven, but I guess like just want to share my thoughts on this topic, and also just like thank Max again for I guess like well at least to me it was like thought provoking. So thank you for my wonderful subscribers so far. Hope people make some good money out there, and I hope to bring you I guess like more I guess like better content in the future. So thank you for watching and have a great one. Bye now.